Dallas, usually a city of glimmering lights and southern charm, shivered under the grip of a December blizzard unlike any in recent memory. Jessica huddled closer to her husband, Mark, by the crackling fireplace, the flickering flames casting grotesque shadows on the living room walls. Outside, the wind howled like a banshee, rattling the windows and whispering secrets through the icy cracks. They shouldn't have been in Dallas. Their vacation in the Bahamas had been cut short by a sudden illness, forcing them to reroute to Mark's childhood home. Now, as the snow piled high and the power flickered ominously, a sense of unease settled over them like the deepening snowdrifts. The storm raged for hours, isolating them in their cozy brick house. As the darkness deepened, the whispers began. Faint at first, carried on the wind, they slithered into their ears, chilling pronouncements of darkness and despair. Jessica dismissed them as hallucinations brought on by the isolation, but Mark, his face pale and drawn, swore he understood their archaic language. "They speak of an ancient evil," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the wind's roar. "Trapped beneath the ice, waiting for the storm to break its chains." Jessica scoffed, but a shiver ran down her spine. The whispers grew louder, forming unsettling phrases about sacrifice and a ritual. A chilling symphony of madness played on the icy wind. Then, a sound pierced the storm's howl, a guttural roar that shook the very foundation of their house. Mark grabbed her hand, his eyes wide with terror. "They're coming," he choked out. They huddled together as the roar grew closer, a monstrous tremor vibrating through the floorboards. Suddenly, the power died, plunging them into an inky blackness. The whispers became a cacophony of screams, filling the room with an icy dread. Panic clawed at Jessica's throat. She fumbled for her phone, its weak flashlight offering a meager shield against the encroaching darkness. Mark, driven by a desperate need to protect her, grabbed a fireplace poker and crept towards the front door. "Stay here," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "Don't let them in." With a final terrified glance, he stepped out into the blizzard. Jessica, alone in the darkness, listened to the wind tear at the house, praying for his return. Then, a sickening thud echoed from the porch. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she heard the guttural roar again, closer now, followed by Mark's choked scream. Terror turned to steely resolve. She wouldn't be a victim. She grabbed a heavy candlestick, its cold metal a grounding counterpoint to the escalating chaos outside. The front door creaked open, revealing a swirling vortex of snow and a monstrous figure, vaguely humanoid but shrouded in darkness. Its eyes, two burning embers in the whiteout, locked onto Jessica with predatory hunger. With a primal scream, she lunged, the candlestick a makeshift weapon against the encroaching nightmare. The figure recoiled from the blow, but its eyes burned with an unholy light. She knew she couldn't fight it, not alone. Suddenly, a flicker of light from the living room caught her eye. The fireplace, miraculously, had reignited. Its warm glow cast long shadows on the wall, revealing a faded map of Dallas, an ancient symbol scrawled in its margin. As if on autopilot, Jessica raced to the map, the whispers growing louder, urging her on. She recognized the symbol, the same one Mark had mentioned, the one spoken of in the chilling whispers. With trembling hands, she grabbed a marker and traced the symbol on the living room floor. The room pulsed with a sudden energy, the fireplace flames roaring to life. The whispers shrieked in protest, their icy grip loosening around the house. The figure on the porch wailed, a sound that curdled her blood. It lunged again, but the symbol on the floor flared, blinding light erupting from its lines. The figure stumbled back, dissolving into the swirling snow, its scream swallowed by the howling wind. The storm subsided as quickly as it had begun. The sun peeked through the clouds, casting a pale light on the snow-covered landscape. Jessica and Mark, shaken but alive, stood by the remains of the fire, the symbol still glowing faintly on the floor. They knew they wouldn't forget the Dallas nightmare, the whispers in the whiteout, the chilling glimpse of an ancient evil. But they also knew they had faced it together, their love and courage a beacon against the encroaching darkness. We continue the stories, but before that, please like this video, comment which story you liked, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more horror stories. Story number 2. The snowflakes splattered against the windshield like shattered stars, obscuring the desolate highway ahead. Martinez gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white, his brow furrowed in a relentless battle against the swirling blizzard. Beside him, his wife, Elena, clutched their sleeping son, Diego, his small chest rising and falling rhythmically against the storm's lullaby. They were stranded. A sudden blizzard had transformed their routine holiday road trip into a desperate struggle for survival. The nearest town, a blip on the map called Crow's Hollow, was just miles away, yet it felt like an impossible distance in the blizzard's icy grip. Radio silence pressed heavily on the airwaves, broken only by the rhythmic rasp of the wipers and the mournful groan of the wind. As fear crept into the car, another sound snaked its way through the whiteout, a whisper. At first, Martinez dismissed it as a trick of the wind, a figment of his growing anxiety. But then, Elena stiffened, her eyes wide with apprehension. "Did you hear that?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the storm's roar. The whisper came again, a sibilant murmur that seemed to slither into their ears, carrying a message in a language older than snow itself. It spoke of secrets hidden beneath the white, of ancient bones stirring in the frozen earth, and a ritual waiting to unfold under the winter moon. As the moon, a ghostly orb peeking through the swirling snow, bathed the landscape in an eerie silver glow, a pair of skeletal trees jutted into view, their twisted branches resembling macabre claws reaching for the sky. A sign, barely visible under a shroud of snow, proclaimed, "Crow's Hollow, 2 miles." Hope flickered in Martinez's chest, but the whisper, now bolder, echoed his apprehension. "They wait," it hissed, "at the crossroads of Crows, where forgotten paths meet the storm." Reaching the town, they found it draped in an unnatural stillness. Houses stood deserted, windows frozen blind, smoke-free chimneys like accusing fingers pointing at the storm-choked sky. The only sign of life was a chilling melody, a hauntingly beautiful song sung by an unseen choir carried on the icy wind. Drawn by the song, they stumbled upon a frozen lake at the heart of the town. There, under the cold gaze of the moon, a grotesque tableau unfolded. Hooded figures, their faces hidden in shadow, chanted around a glowing ice circle, pulsating with an unholy light. In the center, Diego stirred, his sleepwalking somehow leading him to the heart of the ritual. Panic surged through Martinez. The whispers, now frantic shrieks, urged him to intervene. He lunged forward, Elena close behind, their cries swallowed by the chanting. The hooded figures turned, their eyes burning with a cruel, otherworldly light. Elena, drawing strength from maternal desperation, threw a snowball splattering against the ice circle. The chanting faltered, the glowing light flickered. In that moment of disruption, Martinez tackled Diego, pulling him away from the ritual's core. The hooded figures lunged, but the whisper, their own weapon used against them, turned into a deafening shriek. The ice circle shattered, the glow extinguished. With a final mournful cry, the hooded figures dissolved into the blizzard, leaving only the echo of their chilling song on the wind. Morning found them huddled in a deserted tavern, Diego safe in his mother's arms. The storm had passed, leaving behind a world blanketed in pristine white. They knew Crow's Hollow held secrets best left buried, whispers silenced under the weight of snow. Leaving the town behind, they resumed their journey, the memory of the blizzard forever etched in their hearts. And sometimes, on icy winter nights, they could swear they still heard the faintest echo of the whisper, a chilling reminder of the night they faced the horror hidden beneath the snow. The road stretched ahead, now a ribbon of hope leading them home. But the experience forever changed their view of the winter wilderness, whispering a reminder that sometimes the darkest secrets slumber beneath the most beautiful blanket of white. Story number 3. The December blizzard slammed against Jennifer's cabin windows, a gnashing of icy teeth against weathered wood. Inside, she huddled by the crackling fire, a mug of lukewarm tea offering scant comfort against the bone-chilling wind. The power outage plunged the small, isolated cabin into an unsettling darkness, broken only by the flickering flames and the ominous howl of the storm. Jennifer, an artist on a winter retreat, had sought solitude in the rugged Alaskan wilderness. Now she craved companionship, the silence amplifying her unease. The storm, she knew, was unusual, even for this harsh landscape. It felt sentient, almost, a malevolent presence pressing against the cabin walls. As the night deepened, a new sound crept into the symphony of the storm, a faint whisper carried on the wind. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, a chilling murmur that wormed its way into Jennifer's ear, like an icy finger tracing forbidden runes on her skin. At first, she dismissed it as a trick of the wind, a figment of her growing isolation. But the whispers persisted, growing louder, forming words, phrases, chilling narratives whispered in a language she couldn't understand, yet somehow felt ancient and filled with menace. Driven by a morbid curiosity, Jennifer ventured outside, her headlamp cutting a frail cone of light through the swirling snow. The wind tore at her clothes, the darkness pressed in from all sides, and the whispers intensified, swirling around her like a ghostly vortex. In the distance, she saw it, a dark shape, shifting and undulating in the whiteout. As she stumbled closer, the shape coalesced into a figure, tall and emaciated, cloaked in shadows that seemed to seep from the storm itself. Its face, obscured by the swirling snow, held a pair of eyes that glittered like coals in the darkness. Jennifer stumbled back, heart pounding in her chest. The figure, though silent, emanated a potent malevolence, an aura of ancient, frozen evil. Then, in a voice like frozen wind cracking stones, it spoke. "Welcome, child of summer," it rasped. "This is not your domain. The white claims all who linger." Terror rooted Jennifer to the spot. The blizzard intensified, the snow whipping at her face like icy needles. The figure reached out, a skeletal hand extending from the shadows. Panic surged through her, and she bolted, the figure's chilling laughter echoing behind her as she fled back to the cabin. Back inside, huddled by the dwindling fire, the whispers returned, louder, more insistent. They spoke of ancient horrors, of frozen gods trapped beneath the ice, of a ritual to unbind them, a ritual that required a sacrifice. Jennifer understood then. The storm wasn't just a storm, it was a prison, a cage holding back something monstrous. And the figure, the whispers, they were testing her, trying to lure her out to become the offering that would break the seal. She spent the rest of the night barricading the cabin, her hands shaking, her mind reeling. The whispers taunted her, mocked her meager defenses, promised inevitable doom. Sleep, when it finally came, was filled with nightmares of frozen monstrosities and unending blizzards. Dawn arrived, a gray smudge against the endless white. The storm showed no signs of abating, but a desperate resolve had replaced Jennifer's fear. She wouldn't be a victim. She would fight. She remembered the fireplace tools, old and heavy. Each swing against the wood felt like a blow against the encroaching darkness. She sang, loud and clear, a defiant melody against the chilling whispers. Slowly, she reclaimed her space, pushing back the fear, inch by inch. Then, a gust of wind tore through the cabin, ripping away a floorboard. Below, in the darkness of the crawl space, a faint blue glow pulsed. Curiosity overcoming her fear, Jennifer crawled beneath the cabin, the tools clutched in her hands. The glow emanated from a strange symbol etched into the frozen ground, pulsing with an unearthly energy. It was the source of the storm, the anchor holding the ancient evil at bay. With a deep breath, Jennifer struck the symbol with the axe, severing the connection. The cabin shook, the wind howled a shriek of rage. The blue light flared, then abruptly died. Silence. An unnerving absolute silence. Then slowly, the storm began to abate. The snow thinned, revealing a clear, albeit frozen, landscape. Jennifer emerged from the cabin, blinking in the pale sunlight. The blizzard was gone and the whispers silent. Our horror stories come to over. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more horror stories. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.